Parents, it's Miss Burke here, your students Langston Hughes Avid teacher, and I'm coming to you with directions on how to have your kid do their TRF form. I know Avid is kind of a big unknown because it's not something that's at every school, and most of you weren't in Avid as kids, and so you're kind of like, I can help you with math, but I have no clue how to help you with Avid because I don't know what it's all about. So, the main component of AVID is that the students are there to help each other. We call it our AVID family. And in order to help each other, we need to know how to help each other and what we need specific help on, which is what the TRF or tutorial request form is all about. Think of it like a structured study group. We call these study groups tutorials. And we have an AVID tutor, which is an adult trained by Fairfax County with the AVID curriculum. And those tutors help to facilitate the groups effectively. So students are required to do a TRF form every week during distance learning. They then bring this TRF into their tutorial room during the second half or the first half of their AVID class. And what they do is they share out and they get help on their problem. So here's how to complete a TRF. Up top here, these are all boxes for grading. So the tutors will use these boxes to help them grade. The topic or essential question from an academic class. Well, here's a sample. So this student's topic is solving for X. This initial question was literally pulled from their math worksheet. Look, worksheet number 6, question 22. So they got stuck on this one. They didn't know how to solve it. The vocabulary to go with this problem. You'll notice that it's an equation. There's no words there, but the student knows they've been talking about variables and how to isolate. And so they pulled these vocabulary words because they go with this problem and they defined them. What do they know about their question? They know they have to isolate X and they know they have to do the same thing on both sides. Okay, so we're kind of working through here. And they will share this with their group. So their group can be like, okay, they know how to do this, this, and this. Then we get to their critical thinking. So they need to show their work. So this student has shown they know, here's their steps. And they've shown I know to subtract 4 on both sides, divide by 2 on both sides. Oh, hey, I was actually able to solve it. And I checked it. I'm confident in my answer. So even though I solved it, I can still keep this a TRF. So here's an example of if they solve their problem by working through it with a TRF, they can go beyond and say, since I solved my initial question, my new POC stands for point of confusion. Where did they get stuck? What would happen if the 4 had been a -4? So they're saying, if I go back to this original equation, how would it be different if it was a -4? How would I subtract a negative number? And this is what they wrote. So if they were able to solve their problem in the process of thinking through it, they can write kind of a what if question. Here's another example on history. All right, so their essential question or topic is the founding documents of America. Again, this was pulled straight from a textbook. Students could pull this from any sort of work they have for history. So come up with a theory to explain we, the representatives of the U.S., and we, the people of the U.S. distinction. So they know they're talking about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. Those are their vocabulary words they need to talk about. They know the Constitution lists the goals for the new government. The Declaration lists grievances. So then they kind of did this graphic organizer. And they showed their work and their thoughts. And so now this is where they're stuck. How do I explain how changing one word can make it have a different meaning when representatives are also people? So that's where they're stuck within that question. They know all this stuff, but they're still not sure how to answer this specific question. Same thing with English. Vocab, what they know, show their work in a graphic organizer. They've circled and put a question mark. In the fairy tale, how was Scrooge a dynamic character and how were his attitude, beliefs, or behaviors changed? So that's a sample. So let me show you another one for if I were to work through one. So I'll show you a tip. So I know they're talking about food webs in science, or this might be an old topic at this point, but they were talking about food webs. And it was something like, how would the food web change if a producer was removed? And let's say this came from like classwork slides. So academic vocabulary, food web. I could define producer. Now again, kids need to come in and define these. I'm not going to define them now just to save time. What I know about my question. I know a producer is vital for other consumers to survive. I know consumers eat producers. So down here is an example I entered. So you'll see this. Now, you're like, wow, that just popped out of nowhere. Look at all these things I did on here. Here's what I did. You can see this edit button down here. What my first step was, I clicked insert, drawing, plus new. I'm not going to click it again because I've already got a drawing in here. So I'm going to show you how I edited my drawing. So I click edit. And this Google drawing allowed me, I grabbed this picture from the internet. I used the picture button and searched the internet for a picture of a food web. I circled a producer using the shape feature. I inserted a call out, a text box feature here. Is he affected? I inserted some arrows using the line feature. And then this is actually the scribble feature. The scribble feature allows you to just straight up write on the document or on the picture. And so when I click save and close, it inserts that picture into my document. So if they're having trouble showing their math work by typing it, you can always have them insert a Google drawing and like write with the mouse their math work. So Google Drawing is a great tool to help students show their critical thinking. And those graphic organizers, there's all sorts of boxes and connectors and arrows and stuff that kids can use in there to help them show their work. So my tutorial question is, now that I've done all this thinking, now that I've thought through all this stuff, my initial question was, let's see, what was it? How would the food web change if a producer was removed? So let's say I know that the bug and the rat and the frog are going to have a little less to eat. So maybe I'm stuck with, how does the earthworm change the raccoon? How does the earthworm being removed affect the raccoon? And so that's my tutorial question. After I did all my thinking, this is where I'm stuck. I get that this affects right here, but how does this one earthworm affect this raccoon? And so this is what students have to do every week. Now, it's taken a long time to make this video, and I thank you for watching the whole thing. But once students get the hang of this, it shouldn't take them that long. And I encourage you, when your student's like, I don't understand how to do this math problem, remind them, get out your TRF. Make a TRF on it, and then they'll be able to get help from their peers in their classroom. And it'll be really helpful and beneficial. The TRFs are also the largest portion of their grade in AVID. They are worth 40% of their grade. Every AVID class, half of the class is dedicated to tutorials and getting help. So this is a major component of the program, and I greatly appreciate your support and help with this part. Thank you.